You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hey guys, today on the Dan Wickline Show, we got two things to talk about. We're going to talk about the Rings of Power, the new Lord of the Rings series on Amazon Prime, but that'll be a little later in the show. To start with, we're going to put together the case of the bad recommendation. Going on trial is producer JD, and him telling me I needed to give the Terminal List a few more episodes. And then when I said, why would you tell me to do that? He goes, well, I like things that are bad. Oh, we're going to talk about bad. It's bad. Stay tuned to the Dan Wickline Show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience. It's Wednesday, new comic book day. If you are hitting your comic shops, remember to take a look for this if you like erotic, romantic, graphic novels. I wrote this one. It'll be in stores today. It has the Stepan Sejic cover. I don't know if they actually put out with the other covers, the Mirka Andolfo and the Michael D. Pascal. I'm thinking they probably did, but don't know for sure. I would show you some pages there. Here are the two covers I could show you. Mirka Andolfo over here, Michael D. Pascal. I'm not sure I can open any other pages. As Kyle said, it's a book full of boobs. So, but if that's your thing, check out the book. It's on sale today. Also, I recommend the new James Bond series 007 from Dynamite. It is probably one of my favorite things out there. All right. Today, well, a couple of news things real quick. The cast for the Joker movie keeps expanding. They added Brendan Gleeson. They added another actress today. So that movie is probably going to move into production pretty quickly. So it's nice to know that Warner Brothers is doing something, even though they can't seem to actually hire somebody. They lost Dan Lin, the guy they were thinking of having be their Kevin Feige. They couldn't make a deal that was equitable, that having to do with his production company. So he decided to walk. Now, could that turn back around? Always possible, but it could mean that they're moving on to somebody else, and maybe we're a few weeks out from that. So, but Warner Brothers is still a mess and will remain a mess until they get their stuff sorted out. But the other thing Warner Brothers is doing, because Thursday is Disney Plus Day. Disney Plus Day, where Disney drops a bunch of new stuff, including Thor, Love and Thunder is going to be on Disney Plus. A new She-Hulk behind the scene, the assembled thing for Thor Love and Thunder, a making of Obi-Wan Kenobi, a live-action Pinocchio movie, Dancing with the Stars stuff. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff going on to Disney Plus on Thursday. So to counter that, Warner Brothers will be releasing a new trailer for Black Adam Thursday morning. So you might want to keep an eye out for that. And speaking of trailers, they dropped the trailer for the third season of Pennyworth, which is now called Pennyworth, The Birth of Batman's Butler, The Origin of Batman's Butler. Oh, you worked on that Pinocchio movie? Very cool, man. So Yeah, so that you can look and see the trailer for Pennyworth. I've covered Pennyworth. I think it's a pretty fun show. It is absolutely insane. It's like you notice, you know how Gotham started off as being kind of a police procedural, and then they went, oh God, we're going to get canceled. Do everything. Just keep throwing in everything. Bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger. All the villains. We don't have Batman. Doesn't matter. We're just going to keep putting all the villains in there. We're going to put Joker in there, but can't call him the Joker. Going to have Penguin and Riddler, and just kept getting more and more insane. Pennyworth went, hold my beer. Or I guess in that case, hold my tea. And they just have been insane since. I think the first 5 episodes of season 1 are somewhat normal, a little James Bondish, a little Get Carter. And then they just start making right turns, and season 2 was absolutely insane, and season 3 looks like it's even crazier. So that'll be dropping soon. Take a look out on YouTube. You'll see the trailer for it, and I love the show. I think the guy that Jack Bannon, who plays Alfred, is pretty much a young Michael Caine. He has the voice, he has the mannerisms, and I've seen him interviewed outside of the character, and it's the same. He is a young Michael Caine. So if you want to see what Michael Caine's Alfred was like younger, even though it's supposed to be the one from Gotham, it's Michael Caine's Alfred. So check that out. All right, we are going to talk about the Terminal List. And if you have not seen it, it's on Amazon Prime. And I need to give you a little background here. I stayed up one night, gave the first episode a try. I mean, it's Chris Pratt. It's Tyler Kish. It's Jai Courtney, LaMonica Garrett, Constance Wu. I mean, there's a good list of characters. Janine Triplehorn. I mean, it's got a good cast. Paul McCrane, Steve Bishop. It had potential. And it's about a former Navy SEAL officer who investigates why his entire platoon was ambushed during a high-stakes covert mission. Now, right there, it sounds, again, pretty straightforward. Well, I gave the first episode a shot, and I walked away from it going, no, not going to do it. It's hard to take Chris Pratt seriously. I just don't know if he has that dramatic gear. At least I haven't seen it, and it doesn't really come across that much in this one. I saw the Tomorrow War, and again, Chris Pratt is this one character that sometimes he goes more extreme, but there's never a different character. He's that guy. And in here, he's supposed to be this badass Navy SEAL commander. And we see that his platoon gets ambushed, and the intelligence that sent him in there was faulty. And, and then we start getting these. He gets caught in an explosion. All but one other person dies from his platoon. He's accused of having said stuff over the mic that he doesn't remember. And he starts fantasizing about his other group mates, his other teammates. So at this point, we're like, okay, this guy is not mentally well. He's having hallucinations. You're meeting other characters, and at that point you start going, wait, are any of these people real? How much of this is supposed to be real? How much is it supposed to be in his head? So by the time he gets to the end of the first episode, and it's going to be a little spoilery here, but he loses some people close to him besides his group. And you see where the whole revenge thing is going to come in. But it's hard to care for him at that point because he's not that compelling of a character. They don't really spend much time building up the relationship with the people that he loses. And they put in this thing about the mental problem because of the accident. So it's hard to really care. And again, Chris Pratt doesn't have the gravitas to pull this off. And this is before we get to Jai Courtney or anybody else. The only one we meet is Taylor Kish. And I wasn't even sure he was a real character. I thought he might have been a figment because we never see him interact with anybody but Chris Pratt in that first episode. And I came back here the next day and I was talking to JD and I said, JD, I don't think I'm going to keep going with this series. It sounds horrible. I watched the first episode. He goes, I watched it. I went, okay. He says, I think you should give it a few more episodes. Now, to me, that was JD saying, the show is better than you think. You just need to give it a few more episodes to get into it. It sounds like he's telling me it's a good show. At least that's how I took it. And I think that's how most people would take it, right? So the other night, JD says, I'm not too big on Hollywood pushing Pratt as an action hero on us. I like him overall, but besides Guardians of the Galaxy, not so much in action space. I haven't seen the Jurassic movies. I'm not a big Jurassic Park guy, but I hear people seem to like him well enough in that. He was okay in the Tomorrow War, but again, doesn't really have the gravitas to pull that off. And here it's the same thing. But, all right. So 2 nights ago, I had promised one of our listeners, Edward, that I would watch The Samaritan. JD is trying to get out of it. Look at that. I take no responsibility. I'm clearly an idiot. Anyone following my advice should have known better. Okay. So I told Ed I would watch The Samaritan. We could talk about it on Thursday. So that is a plan that tomorrow we're going to talk about The Samaritan. Afterwards, I'm already on Amazon Prime. And I'm like, JD told me I should give it a couple more episodes. I like JD. I don't know if you guys know this, but JD writes the majority of the ads we do, the black and white ads that have all the jokes in them. I've done maybe 2 or 3 that I've given him, and he turns them into that. But most of those are JD. I think like 99% of them are JD. He's got a good sense of humor. So I thought, I'm going to trust this. I like JD. So I start watching. Well, first thing, if you are a military guy or a military person, if you love the military, if you think that anybody who signs up and serves our country as a hero, and don't get me wrong, that's pretty true right there. I mean, if you sacrifice and go out there and serve, God bless you. All right. But if your opinion is as soon as they put on that uniform, they become infallible and invincible, this is the show for you. Now all I can imagine is every time JD says something in real life, a video game sound finishes the sentence. So we end up with this story that is pro-soldier, pro-SEAL, anti-establishment, anti-military industrial complex. Greed is bad. Soldiers are heroes. Hoo-yah, hoorah, the whole thing. SEALs can't be beat. And to the point where they want to show in one episode that this guy is such a badass that he could be dropped into the forest. Well, it's in California. We really don't technically have forests here. We just have big open spaces that usually catch fire. But this time it's not on fire. And he's being hunted. Well, they need to show what a badass he is as a Navy SEAL. So they bring in a bunch of Navy SEALs, which creates this dichotomy of if a Navy SEAL is an unstoppable force and you have 1 versus 6, how is this one better? But sure enough, he's the better one. And of course, he doesn't shoot at him because, he leaves a little bullet to say, I had the shot just so you know I could have killed you. But I didn't. And the thing is that they spend a lot of time trying to frame the character as a hero. Yet he's killing a bunch of hired security, blowing things up. He catches a cop in a landslide that just about kills her, but then he has to rescue her. So they spend a lot of time trying to go, but he's a hero. Yeah, who's killing a lot of people. They don't pretend John Wick is a hero. They tell you John Wick is a killer. He has killed a lot of people. He stopped when he fell in love. He came back because you idiots killed his puppy. And now he's killing everybody. And as soon as you killed his puppy, the audience went, yeah, kill them all. Go for it. In this, they kill something important to Chris Pratt's character, but we don't care about it. And there is not this natural connection to people. People don't have a natural connection to people as we do to animals, because we look at a dog or something like that and we think it's innocent and pure, and it's an instant connection. Where you have humans and you think, well, they could just be bastards. They could be not nice people. JD says, it's ex-military. Anyone using their skills for something as crass as money deserves death in this universe. Yeah, I could see that. But so these people that die that he cares about, but because he's got something wrong with his brain, he keeps seeing them a lot, over and over. And it got to the point that we saw them so much, they almost became like the songs in the Lord of the Rings novel, where most people just start skipping over them. Because it's like, these don't matter. We got the hint. People sing. Okay. It's not like you're giving us new information. You're giving us history that we're never going to care about until they decide to turn the song into a 12-part Amazon series. But they just kept showing, and a lot of times they kept showing the same scene over and over to that. A dead bird slams into a window and dies. And it's like, okay, I've watched that bird die more times than Martha and Thomas Wayne. It's enough. Let's move on. And it's, and there's a character they introduced early on, and through the entire thing, I kept going, well, he's going to betray him. That guy is going to betray our hero. And I'll give them credit. They waited till the last minute of the series before we find out. But it's really freaking obvious through the whole thing. You're like, yep, that's coming. That is coming. It's going to happen. And of course, you've got some people that Chris Pratt's character, Reese. What was his first name? John Reese, James Reese, something like that. Reese, of course, saved them when he was a soldier, so they're dedicated to him. They'll do anything for him. They will shoot and fly and kill. And yeah, it's just... Hey, Ed, we're talking about the Terminal List, which... Yeah, so... But it's 8 episodes, and I kept watching. And I kept watching because I thought this had to get better at some point. Something had to happen that made my friend JD tell me, you need to give this more, a few more episodes. And I think my conclusion at this point is JD doesn't like me. I think this is torture for JD watching this show, having to produce it. You want to come on and defend yourself, JD? You're welcome to, because you said I needed to give it a few more episodes.
I specifically meant 2 more episodes till you got to the point where they got the tumor reveal and you find out that he wasn't just being paranoid. He was actually, people were trying to kill him.
It's not a tumor.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it is. It is absolutely a tumor.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. Like, you were talking about how you didn't know what was real and what wasn't. And I was like, well, they want you to right now. You should give it a couple more episodes till they get to the part where they actually make that definition for you.
Did you mention that?
No, because I didn't want to spoil the reveal. I mean,
so you just said give it a few more episodes.
Yes.
So there was something worth seeing in those few episodes, is what you were saying.
No.
How would I not take it that you felt I should give it a few more episodes when you said you should give it a few more episodes?
You were confused. And I was like, well, if you give it a couple more episodes, you won't be confused anymore.
But you could have said that, and it's still not good, but you'll understand.
See, I don't. That's the thing, is I don't usually make recommendations to people because I like things that a lot of people don't. I loved the Eternals.
I like the Eternals.
Okay. I love Howard the Duck.
Howard's awesome. Not the George Lucas movie.
No,
but
I'm saying a movie with Leah Thompson and Tim Robbins. It's awesome. And the pedophile guy.
Yes. I know who you're talking about. The principal from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. He's gone. He's gone from the record now. We've stricken him from history.
Jeffrey Jones?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Yeah.
See JD Smith, he agrees with me.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. It's a fun movie. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, I grew up on Mystery Science Theater 3000. I listened to all of How Did This Get Made, all the bad movie podcasts. I enjoy things in a different way that most people don't.
And I get that. I do. But but I can and in those cases there's usually something to laugh at, something to do an MST 3000 on. And there wasn't in this. It was just bad.
Well, I found lots of stuff to make fun of.
Oh no, there's a lot of stuff to make fun of.
Yeah, exactly. And watching something that's terrible, it can still give you a lot to say about it.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot to say about the Terminal List.
Exactly. It's an experience, even though it wasn't a
good experience,
a positive one.
Yeah,
seeing art fail is at least as important as seeing it succeed.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But that's I don't believe I recommended it to you because I thought it was good, just because I thought, oh, you're confused about this one bit. If you give it a couple more episodes, then you'll understand that.
So the bottom line here is I need to ask more questions when you recommend or when you say something like that.
Sure. Yeah. I would not take it. Like, I'm so used to nobody taking my suggestion seriously that I guess I was surprised that you actually went back and watched.
Do you remember the John Larroquette show?
No.
John Larroquette had a short-lived sitcom after Night Court where he ran a bus terminal. He was the night manager at a bus terminal, and he had an incredible cast. It had Chi McBride and a bunch of other really good actors. And Chi was the repairman at the bus terminal, and there was a prostitute who worked at the bus terminal, and there was a bunch of other people. There was an African-American kid in a wheelchair who ran the concession stand. It was a really good cast. And at one point, and if you're wondering, I'm going somewhere with this. And there's an episode where Chi discovers a white part, like just suddenly like an irregular oval of white on his penis. And he's concerned about it. But he's got bad insurance and he doesn't want to go to the doctor. So he is trying very hard to get one of his coworkers to look and see what it is so that he could get a diagnosis on it. And he goes through to all the different people trying to get him to look, and they're all like, hell no, I don't want to see. No. And even John Lorquette's like, no. Finally, he gets the prostitute to look. And she glances down at it and goes, you doing home repair around the house? He goes, yeah. Says, you're painting the house or painting a room? He goes, yeah. White? He goes, oh. He goes, you stopped in the middle of work and went to the bathroom, didn't you? He's like, yeah. He goes, it's just paint. Just soap and water and get it off of there. So he comes outside and he's all elated and happy. And he goes up to John Larroquette and he says, something to the effect of, what it is. And John looks at him and goes, sometimes it's the questions you don't ask. And I think that's my new rule with you.
Okay. I would say that there was no malice intended, is what I would like to convey.
Okay. I believe that you did not mean malice in getting me to watch that. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes movies are so bad that you want other people to experience them. I just sent my nephew's boyfriend home with 3 movies. One, Silverado, which is an amazing movie. But the other 2 are Buckaroo Banzai, which is hit or miss. Some people are going to love it. Some people are not. And Flash Gordon.
I think everyone should have seen Flash Gordon, whether they like it or not.
I mean, Brian Blessed as Hawkman, Timothy Dalton as Prince Baron, Max von Sydow. I mean, you got a great cast there, and Sam Jones, and you got the Queen music. I mean, and it's just such a over-the-top, fun thing. Yeah, everybody should watch it. Now, will he appreciate it being 30 years old and not even born when that came out? I don't know. Kid of the 90s. We shall see. So, but I also gave him Buckaroo Banzai, so that's kind of. So, all right, guys, we're going to take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. We'll be right back.
Get the inside scoop on everything happening at the Experience every week. Join our mailing list by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen and then watching your email inbox.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there. Hi there. Oh there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome, everybody. It's Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out.
There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I'm your host, Henry Kumpel. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mishmash.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Game Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in the minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadet.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, everyone, for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectibles.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box?
What's in the box?
Comic culture and sales.
Hey everybody, I'm David Boer, the writer of Kanto, Killer Queens, and All New Firefly, and you are watching The Experience.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Just because I had mentioned it, the John Larroquette show, the kid in the wheelchair was Daryl Mitchell, who has also been in Fear the Walking Dead, NCIS New Orleans, Brothers, and he goes all the way back to Galaxy Quest. So, like I said, they had a really good cast. They also had Liz Torres, comedian Lenny Clark, and the show went on a lot longer than I remembered. It actually went, 4 seasons, 84 episodes. So, I mean, it was out there a long time. So if you had, Ted McGinley popped up on it. It was one of the first American shows that Ryan Stiles showed up on, the guy from the Drew Carey show, and also Whose Line Is It Anyway? And not My Two Dads, Two and a Half Men. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting. Ryan Stiles played part of the Washington Generals, the bad basketball team that plays the Harlem Globetrotters all the time. Yeah. Let's see. What are we looking at here? What messages? Howard the Duck movie is fun. Yep. I love Howard movie too. It's one of those guilty pleasures from an early teen years. Yeah, there's a couple questionable things in there, but overall it's good. Ed, I'm happy to save you 8 hours in watching of that. It's not good. Yeah, it's a good thing he took it to the prostitute. He did take it to the kid in the wheelchair, actually. And the kid was like, no. I'm glad you liked Flash Gordon. It's a movie everybody should watch. And the experience, it's silly and charming. Agreed. Absolutely. But Brian Blessed as Hawkman is still one of the best. Just him flying along going, dive! And just, Flash Gordon. Yep. And they've never done another good Flash Gordon since. They've tried a couple times, but Flash Gordon TV show, stuff like that. Nope. It's all about Sam Jones and Max von Sydow. That was the sweet spot. So, all right, let's get into the Lord of the Rings of Power. Now, first thing you got to know going into this is they really, really, really want you to think it's part of the Peter Jackson series, because they do so much in line with the Peter Jackson stuff. It's, the cities are all similarly designed, the elven cities and stuff. They don't do everything. Like Bland Ming TV show was crap. Yes, he was. Yeah, that was the Flash Gordon was not good. So I keep hoping Nick's going to do more Flash Gordon. I can convince him to let me write it. That'd be fun. But yeah, the Rings of Power, the first thing, like I said, it is really trying hard to be part of the Peter Jackson series. Also, the maps, the overlay of the maps that they do and stuff like that. So it all has that similar feel. On the other hand, they do stuff like the elves don't seem to all have long, straight hair like they do in the books. So, I mean, we get a young version of Elrond, and it's like he doesn't look like Elrond. The woman playing the young Galadriel is awesome. There's a scene where they pull in close on her eyes, and we've seen that with Cate Blanchett. And it's like, I don't know how they did the casting, but they might have said, send us close-ups of your eyes, because it was perfect. Overall, the cast is really good. The look of the show is just... Amazon has paid $465 million to do this series. Now, not all of that is budget for the show. A big chunk of that was to get the rights. But what they got the rights to is kind of weird, because this takes place, this is kind of the stuff they cover in the Silmarillion, but they don't have the rights to the Silmarillion. What they're doing is they're writing a story based off of the appendix in one of the appendices in Lord of the Rings that covers the Second Age, and they're creating a story around it. Now, don't get me wrong. I tried to read the Silmarillion, and it was bad. Not good. Not good. No. It's not a very good story. So I'm okay with what they're doing here. We got 2 episodes dropped at the same time. And that I think was really smart, because the first one is the world building episode and the reminding us, this is where the elves come from, and this is where they go to Middle Earth, and this is what an elf city looks like, and this is the hierarchy. And okay, we're not going to have hobbits because we're thousands of years in the past, but we are going to have predecessors to the hobbits, because there are 3 groups that became known as the hobbits, basically. And one of them is the Harfoots, who are known for having darker skin and stuff like that because of where they were located, genetics. When you get closer to the equator and closer to the sun, your skin gets darker. So the Harfoots are from that area. And that made a lot of sense. I thought the Harfoots really did have a hobbit feel to them, with also being a little more nomadic. I mean, their whole thing is they could get up and just leave at a moment's notice. So where the hobbits, they build, homes, and the Shire is built in and protected. And so they're different in that sense. But overall, you get that same feel, that love of life and thing. And I like that. 2-episode drop is the way to go for every show moving forward. I hated the first episode, and if both weren't available, not sure I'd still be watching the show. Fair enough. Ed says, I've read the Silmarillion a couple of times, and it still confuses me. I did notice they mentioned the Silmarils in the Amazon show, so I think they're going to try and do a layman's version of Silmarillion, which I'd be totally fine with. I think you nail it right on the head there, Ed. I think they're taking the information from the Silmarillion, but not the story they tried to do. And they're trying to strip it down. And they're giving stuff like Galadriel's really not a big part of that era, that age, but they're making her a big part because, and this is one of the things I think they do the best in the 2 episodes, is they give us enough familiarity to make us go, oh, I know it. I know this. It's like Denny's. You could be traveling across the country. You're homesick. You just want to go someplace, and you see a Denny's or whatever restaurant you love. And you pull in, and when you walk in, it's the same food, the same menus, the same designs. And it's like, oh, it's familiarity. It's why they do stuff like that. It's why most McDonald's look the same, that type of stuff. It's the familiarity. Well, that's what the Amazon's doing here, is that they're giving us enough things that feel like the previous series. They gave us Elrond, and they gave us Galadriel, names that we're familiar with, who would be alive long enough. They gave us the Harfoots, but they really come across a lot like Merry and Pippin and stuff like that. and Samwise. So you get that Hobbit feeling. So you've got the one story with the elves, but you got some familiar faces. And then over here you got the Harfoots. It's like, okay, it feels like the Hobbits. So you start getting that familiarity. In episode 2, what's even better is they have Elrond go to Khazad-dûm. And Khazad-dûm, by the way, let's do a quick spoiler thing just in case. I don't want to, in case anybody hasn't seen it. So, Triple B, that's the thing, is the first one is just such an info dump and getting you into it, where the second one, there's mysteries and characters to follow. They kind of, and that's the thing I loved about what they did, was they give you so much information and all this stuff, but by the time you get through the second episode, they're like, okay, yes, there's a lot of people, but the ones you need to pay attention to, Galadriel and Harbeard, that's one group we got to watch. Elrond and Durin, that's another group we got to watch. And Celebrimbor, oh, these names are tough for me. Celebrimbor, okay. And then we also have name. Arondir and Bronwyn and her son Theo. That's another group we got to pay attention to. So we've got these little things going on in different places, but they're also a familiarity to it. Like, they spend a chunk of time giving us the relationship between Durin, the prince of Khazad-dûm, or the king, or whatever he's supposed to be, because his dad's involved still. So I don't know if he's the king or the prince. And Elrond, and their relationship is that same kind of banter, playful thing that we got between Gimli and Legolas. You know, where they're counting the number of kills and stuff like that. So even though Elrond is more of a politician, where Legolas was a warrior, you still have that, you know, you get that feeling between the two. You know, Durin is mad at Elrond because he wasn't there for the last 20 years and all these important things that happened. So there's a rift between them, and he's got to repair that. Galadriel is hell-bent on her quest, which fits the character. And then we get this completely mysterious guy, Halberd, who we still got to figure out. And then with the, even with the Harfoots, when the meteor man, or the stranger as they call him, crashes into the field near them and they start to help him, you totally get that wizard feel from him. You know, we don't know who it is. We don't know. And if you know the history of Lord of the Rings, it shouldn't be Gandalf, which is a lot of what a lot of people are saying it might be. The wizards are not supposed to have shown up until the Third Age, and we're in the Second Age here. Also, Sauron was the first wizard to come, then the others. So if it is the wizards coming early, it should be Sauron, not Gandalf. And by the way, Sauron and Sauron are a little too close. Somebody should have told Tolkien, hey, that's going to get confusing. Not like the rest of it isn't. But, you know, so we got a lot of stuff in the first two. But that's the thing for me, is the first episode just kind of gave us the world. Okay, here it is. This is what's going on. These are all the people, blah, 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 blah. But then by the second one, they're like, okay, don't need to pay attention to everybody. All right? We got Elrond and Durin with Celebrimbor trying to build the furnace, or the big, the thing to craft. That's one story. That'll be over here. We got Nori and the stranger. Something's going on over there. Don't know what it is, but we'll follow that. We got Galadriel and Halberd. They're on a raft. Neither one of them pushed the other into the water, so it's not Titanic. a big boat comes up, but we're going to follow them too, see what's going on over there. And then we've got Arondir and Bronwyn and Theo trying to discover what's going on in those other towns. And you got Arondir going underground. So it's like, those are your groups. Those are our 4 stories we're going to have to follow, which is a lot easier than the Lord of the Rings movies, because they didn't really break them up like that. You had things going on over here, over there, over there, over there. We got more and more elves popping up and all these other things. It's like, okay, we got 4 groups to follow. There's only 2 or 3 people in every group. We should be good. We don't need a whiteboard and red string. We don't need to make a murder board. We should be able to follow this. And that's what I really liked about the end of the second episode, is I didn't come out of it going, oh my God, what's going to happen here? Like I did with House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon, I think I remember one name, Damon. And that's because he was the most interesting character to me. The other names are too similar. Half the time I either call the people by their actor's name or by what they did, or the nicknames they get, like the Queen Who Never Was. I got that one. I don't know what her name is, but that's the Queen Who Never Was. I'm good there. But let's see. Elrond, of course, wants to start his fake religion under a pseudonym. Do we really need a Dianetics joke? Really? Thought we were kind of past those with Lord of the Rings. Now, if Elrond and Galadriel meet up, we then have, and then the human ends up working with Elrond, we'd have Elrond Harbeard. That's a little closer. Yeah, I'm going to take the joke and go a little further. My thoughts on the overall series. Again, I think the first one was slow. They dumped a lot of stuff on us. But they did it in at least in enough familiarity that we can compartmentalize it, It's like we don't have to know everything, but we can connect it through what we do know. And then they break it down into those 4 groups. So now we know what's going on moving forward. That makes it a lot easier. It's good writing in that sense. However much they spent on the series, it's on the screen. That is an epic. That is gorgeous. Now, I watched it on my TV. Jim Beard, the guy that does Pop Go the Writers with me on Sundays, he went and saw it in the theater, the first 2 episodes, and loved it. He said, you should see it in the theater. So for them to be able to do a TV show that can go and look like Lord of the Rings epic on the big screen, that's impressive. And that's what we saw. Every scenic shot, every establishing shot of a city or a big open field or anything, it looked epic. Them climbing up the ice walls to Sauron's cave, or Mordor. Again, the names are just, yeah. But that's the thing we got to keep track of now. Now we need to keep track of Brimbor is the guy that makes the rings, along with the dwarves. So Sauron's going to show up there somehow. And we know that somebody is Sauron in disguise. So now we have to start paying attention. Is it the stranger? Seems too easy. Is it Halbeard? Maybe. Halbeard, that little symbol on his necklace we saw, that's the same symbol as the town that was destroyed by the orcs. That's where Bronwyn and her son Theo comes from. Theo's father disappeared. Maybe Halbeard is Theo's father, and that's why he has the sword with Sauron's symbol on it. I mean, there's so many mysteries going on, and they're already giving us clues. So yeah, I really, really liked what I saw. I thought the effects were really good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. All right, let's take another quick break, and then there's one other thing I want to talk about when we come back, having to do with Rings of Power. So we'll be right back.
Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
Comic Collectibles is here for you every Wednesday with AR Comics for two very important reasons: to sell you rare, one-of-a-kind comics that you'll love, and to confuse AR with old man talk. You see, Rex and John are, how should I put this, ancient as the roots of the mountains. So every week, Rex and John fill in AR in yet another area of pop culture that he missed because he's too young, just didn't have the time, or just really doesn't care about. It's a real public service they provide. Come buy some super rare and unique comics, while old men explain long-dead sci-fi shows to a younger man making that confused puppy face. Every Wednesday from 6 to 8 Eastern with Rex, John, and AR Comics. Comic Collectibles on The Experience. Comic culture and sales.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
Hey, it's producer Kyle. If you like going places where the action never stops, like Las Vegas, the Caribbean, and Atlantic City, then you're probably not who I want to talk to. But if you want to surround yourself with amazing comic books and comic book content made by a devoted group of smart and funny industry insiders, the Experience Members Club was made for you. You can join the Experience by becoming a supporting member of our YouTube channel. You get access to exclusive content that no one else gets, like members-only live streams, pre-sales, one-on-one Q&As with production staff, and other content that's exclusively for members. Plus, for a limited time, if you sign up now, you'll be entered into our giveaway of a slabbed comic book. Just call this 1-8... Wait, hold on. It's 2022. No one makes phone calls anymore. Scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or just visit the membership section of our YouTube page, and you'll be on the VIP line of the comic book buffet, baby. Look at the size of those perks. Join today, and I'll be saying, who loves you, baby? Me. The answer is me.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Dan Wickline Show. Remember to check out our members-only sections. We got some great stuff coming on. And if Miss Jen is listening, she was earlier, I think that when we do one of our members-only live streams, that everybody on the show should be wearing members-only jackets. Just saying, kind of goes with the theme. Okay, let's talk about the room and the elephant, or the elephant in the room. I like the room and the elephant. That should be like a book. I should write that. And while Jen appears. Yep, members only jackets. We should definitely go for those. All right, let's talk about the complaint that have been going on for Lord of the Rings. And we're also getting them for She-Hulk and all this other stuff. There are people out there who most of them just want to be relevant, so they attack things based on gender and race, and it's just a bunch of BS. So, but I'm going to narrow focus onto the argument having to do with this series. There are people out there upset that there is a black person playing, a person of color playing an elf. Now, it's 2022. It shouldn't matter. Really shouldn't. It shouldn't be an issue. But we're going to step back from that because I think there's two things going on here. There are those people out there who cannot stand people of color or women starring in or being important in series, and they're wrong. It's just wrong. Okay. Putting that aside, there are some people who are specifically upset about Arondir. They're not upset about Lenny Harris playing Saffron, Harfoot, because in the books, Harfoots are described as having darker skin, browner skin. What they're upset is that in his description of elves, they're all described as having fair skin and long hair. And Arondir doesn't. Now, there have been a lot of stuff that has come out that may not look like how I picture a character, how I grew up with as a character. Sandman just had Jenna Coleman play Constantine. That's not how Constantine looks to me. Matt Ryan is how Constantine looks for me. There's never been mentioned dark elves. So if your argument is that elves are supposed to be fair-skinned and long-haired, then I can see where you're coming from. But you need to get past that because you're missing out on a good series. If you're coming out because, well, no, people of color shouldn't be in the series, because there are places that Tolkien specifically put them in, like Harfoots. So you can't make that argument. If you want to make the argument about elves, I don't think it's a good argument, but I can see where you're coming from. But again, I disagree with you. Because watching these two episodes, Arondir is one of the coolest characters. The actor playing him, let me get his name, is Ismael Cruz Cordova. We've seen him recently before. He was in The Mandalorian in the episode, the Prison Break episode from season 1. I'm trying to get his character's name. He plays Quinn when they go in to bust Quinn out of prison, and his sister's there. And yeah, same actor. Guy's great. Did a great job as Arondir. So just put that part out of your mind and enjoy the series. Okay? Like I said, there's characters that have popped up that it's like, that's not how the character looked growing up when I read it or whatever. And it throws you off, but you got to get past that. And don't punish yourself into missing something that could be very good. It's not good for you. And I don't see why you want to go out and spend so much time raging at the idea of it. You're just wasting your own time. Because they're not going to change it. The actor's great. The character is great. He's been one of the highlights of the show. Sit down and watch it. And if you don't like it because the story is not what you want, it's not going what you like, that's one thing. But if you're just not going to watch the show that is something you love because one character is not looking the way you want him to, you're being kind of an idiot. You're hurting yourself. So, all right, guys, we are going to wrap it up there. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. I would appreciate it greatly. Also, tell your friends about the show. We're doing a lot of good stuff here. So we can bring some more people in, maybe build this audience up. Also, check out on TikTok. I've got a new account, TikTok, Dan Wickline. And I have been covering the news as it breaks with this stuff. So if we do the long conversations about it here on the Dan Wickline Show, I'll do the quick news breaks there so you can keep up on the latest. And I will definitely be covering this weekend all the news coming out of D23. So stick around for Comic Collectibles. They're giving away a box of Red Sonja special edition trading cards. So you want to stick around for that, and they have some great books. So stick around. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.